Hey everybody, and welcome to Nathan's Mind Movies. It is Thursday, that means it is Overthink Thursday. Me and a guest will talk about a topic related to Monday's story and some other stuff that we can't help but think about. Tom Bachman is an American comedian who spent a few years living and performing abroad. He has since moved back to the States. He now lives in Philadelphia, where he is involved in the local stand-up scene. Tom, thanks a lot for being here today.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thanks for having me.
You were away for how long?
I was away for a little over 2 years.
Have you noticed a change in how we view politics and how we talk to each other?
I would say it does feel more sensitive around certain things. I think some of that's probably a good thing. I think there's a direction that's being moved towards that's probably good in the long run. I just think it's figuring itself out right now. And there's a line of thinking that's kind of like equality at all costs, and even to suggest anything else is going to like rile people up. And I don't know if that was quite as prevalent before I left. I don't want to rally against like the PC culture too much because they'll flay me.
Something I wanted to ask you about, I wrote the story, The Yabberlock, that I released on Monday. And when I was writing it, I was so worried and I was choosing my words so carefully. There was a lot that I was editing out. What's your outlook on what you do when you write a joke, and how much of the audience's reaction in terms of being offended do you consider when you're writing?
I kind of sway a little bit. I just remember this bit that I was kind of working on that kind of goes along with this. Are you familiar with Dragon Ball Z? A little bit.
I am. I'm a little bit.
Well,
I mean, if you showed me a picture, I would know that was Dragon Ball Z, but I wouldn't know what the person's name was.
Let me give you basically the parallel I draw is that there's a race of people called the Saiyans, and you go what's known as Super Saiyan. That's when their hair gets spiky and blonde, and that's like the superpower. It's like basically turning into Superman. So you've got your normal power level, and then you've got the Super Saiyan. Well, the problem with for the writers was, they worked up to Super Saiyan. It took them so long, and only one guy could do it. But once he broke into Super Saiyan, then all the other Saiyans on Earth could break into Super Saiyan. So then they had to come up with Super Saiyan 2 and 3, and I think they're at Super Saiyan 4 now. And it's like there's different levels. And going to Super Saiyan 1 now is like nothing. It's just like they can just do that. It's like no problem. And I was kind of drawing that comparison of like, to really rile somebody up and get someone like steaming about something used to kind of take a lot. But now like the moral certainty that it seems everybody has about everything, they can just like click on that enraged Super Saiyan mode where,
everybody has reached the highest level of being offended. So now that makes them better able to reach that level again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something I wanted to ask you is, what do you want to achieve in comedy?
We talked about this a while back, and I feel like in some ways my answers changed. I think ultimately now my goal is like, I want to get more skillful in telling jokes and in the raw form of doing stand-up, to the point where I can really say some stuff that I want to say in a way that both entertains and also brings people's walls down, so that I can talk to like a deeper part of them where they're understanding it, but they're not, their defenses aren't up where they're like, oh, this guy's trying to change me,
So your goal is kind of to become effective at communicating in I guess the language of stand-up?
I actually am not as married to the idea of doing it through stand up as I used to be, because because I don't even know. Like I think I'm okay at stand up. I have a lot of room for improvement. I think I maybe have a natural knack for it, perhaps. Who knows? Maybe that's just what I tell myself. But now I'm also in the stage where I'm like trying other stuff out, and just giving other stuff as much attention as I would stand up. It's like in sports when you're a kid, you have the idea that you're going to be like the center forward on the soccer team, and then the coach is like, well, we really need a goalie. And he throws you in goal, and all of a sudden it's like you're an amazing goalie, and you start in this world of being a goalie opens up to you, and you would have never considered it because you just saw yourself scoring goals, but in fact you were made to stop goals, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I haven't tried all the positions.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Well, what are some of these things that are opening up to you that are outside of stand up but still in the realm of comedy?
I think like sketch, improv, those are two things I haven't really even touched at all. I mean, I took an improv class, and that was pretty cool because it's really freeing, and it's also totally different than stand up. And if you bring a stand up mind into improv, you will ruin the improv scene. And so that's something that I've kind of been exploring, and who knows? I mean, maybe I'll suck at those things. And just like writing comedy, like writing sketches, and maybe writing some short stories. Those are some things I'd like to try.
I think for me,
Yeah, because you're doing stories now.
I'm doing stories now. When I started, it was all about stand up for me, and then I got to a point where I wanted to try different things, and I just started trying with sketch, and sketch was good, but it's just really difficult. Just there are so many different people that you have to try to coordinate with and trying to get schedules together. And so now I'm trying to work on stories, and it's really fun, but there's a lot of uncertainty with it. Like with the podcast and everything, is you're trying something and you're kind of releasing it out into the internet, and you really don't know if anybody's listening to it. I mean, at least with an open mic, you see that there are 3 people in the audience, and they're kind of listening to you. You know what I mean? With this podcast, I could easily be just kind of talking to myself.
Well, what's something I kind of just, when you were talking, I kind of just thought of, which is, you said like when you release it onto the internet, and I think, we're so used to the model that is it's like distribution is the name of the game, and that the internet unlocks unlimited distribution. And that's definitely true to an extent. But what that distribution allows for is it allows for depth as well. Whereas in the old model, where it was really expensive to distribute things, and now it's not. Well, when it was really expensive, you had to be sure that you were going to get the return on your investment. So all the stuff was really, really dumbed down, so that it's like they chewed the food for you,
I see.
And now you have the ability to kind of make a more complex meal or whatever, to just carry on the metaphor. And you can trust that if you're making something good, that it's not going to be for everybody. Like, it's not going to be mashed potatoes where everybody can eat it, but it might be something a little more subtle. And if it's good, then you don't need, 100,000 people to consume it. You just need a couple hundred people who are really into that, So that's kind of something I think that people don't totally realize, that that's really where the power is that it doesn't need to be viral. It doesn't need to be like 1 million downloads a month. And then of course the thing that ends up happening is that if you do get something really tasty and something that's a little more new,
Something that's
a little
tasty,
more
you're still
yeah.
continuing. You're still going with the food. Okay, if you get something that's tasty, it has the right balance of saltiness
Yeah,
and sweetness.
exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe it's got some Asian infused flavors and some,
Of course. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, then all of a sudden you are getting a huge distribution as well. But it's like, I think people go for the distribution first without going for the depth, you know?
I
It's
see.
like that, I mean, I understand that part of it is like, hey guys, like you gotta share this episode with a friend and all that stuff. But that stuff is really, it's like, is there a video where you really, really liked it? You thought of someone who would really, really like it. And because the person didn't say, oh, hey, like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, a family member. Like, because they didn't say that, you're like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't share it. Everything I
Yeah.
share, I just share because I'm going to share it anyways. You know what I mean? Anything I subscribe
But
to,
but
I
I
just subscribe to.
but I do think that some people, that maybe you're a little bit different, but I do think some people need a push in order to get that. I think that some people do need to be reminded to actually subscribe, because
Hey, shithead,
it's hard.
subscribe.
Hey, or yeah, hey, don't be a shithead, subscribe. And then the person's like, well, I don't want to be a shithead, and then they subscribe. But I for it was so tough. It has been so tough for me to learn the language of, hey guys, like, share, and subscribe. And then I remember I wrote, when I posted the first episode, I wrote subscribe in caps lock,
Yeah.
in all capital letters. And that's just something that people do, and it makes sense. But I just felt so, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I felt so silly,
Yeah.
kind of like so much like one of these YouTube video guys with like, they were like really cool haircuts, and they're like, hey, yeah, I'm talking about, and they're like, and they talk really quick,
Yeah.
and they have like a lot of different cuts of themselves at different points in the frame,
Mm-mm.
and I'm trying to learn the language of, hey guys, like, share, and subscribe,
Yeah.
and hey guys, check this out. I'm a terrible salesman, and but I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was necessary. And I do think that you do need to tell people, like, share, and
Yeah.
subscribe.
I think it's,
Or
yeah.
a significant portion of people won't do it if you don't
I
remind them.
think there's value to getting a ball, like getting some of the ball roll, like getting the ball rolling and gaining some credibility that way. And I think learning the rules and the language of your medium is very important. And I think that's what you're doing. So, like, bravo. I think at a certain point, what's going to happen is you're going to understand you're going to understand, okay, this is what I can do that's just a little bit different, that'll actually convert people to subscribing, because like, if I'm wrong, you can correct me, but you're not in it just to have a million bots follow you. You want people that actually are engaged with the stories and stuff,
Yeah.
so, it's like the numbers game is important in the sense that, like, if I see something that has like 1,000 likes, I'm going to be like, oh, like, what is this thing? And I'll click on it too. but I don't think that's like, I think still what's most important is the thing that you've made.
Yeah, maybe quality. Maybe quality is king. Just having something that people actually want to
Yeah.
look at or listen to. And
Yeah. I mean, I think so far you're doing a good job. So keep that up.
no, I do thank you for that,
Yeah.
man, and I thank you for coming on here and for talking to me. it's been really good.
Oh wait, I do have the. I just remembered the email I was going to read you.
That's something I wanted to.
So
I wanted to bring this up. You have something coming up on. you have something coming up on Friday. Would you like to tell everybody what's?
Can I plug this?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So
All right, listen up.
Okay.
Guys, on Friday, I'll be performing 15 minutes at a 50th high school reunion in South Philadelphia. Do not come out and check it out. It's an invite only. You're not invited.
You just want people. You just want people to know that it's happening.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know.
You just want them to know that somewhere in the world this is happening.
Somewhere in Philadelphia, in a ballroom of sorts, there will be a bunch of 68-year-old people, give or take a couple years, listening to me do jokes about Vietnam and whatnot. Because I thought that would be relatable, considering I taught there and they got drafted there. So
is that, and I feel like that's going to be one of your jokes.
That's going to be my rider.
That's hey man, that will definitely get everybody's attention.
Yeah. So I got this gig through dumb luck, and it really is my first paid gig in Philadelphia. And I emailed the woman who kind of put me on, and I said, hey, asked her some questions, asked her for some stories about who was the class clown and who had, the good reputation, bad reputation, all that stuff. And she emails me this gem, which I'm going to be reading in its entirety at the performance. Hi, Thomas. Give me a day or two, and I'll get some information and maybe stories for you. If you want to use me, I don't mind. I was born and raised in South Philadelphia, but I had horses from age 11 to 45. If you know anything about horses, geldings need to be beaned. That means cleaning their penis. And yes, I've done that in the past. You might get a joke or two out of that. I also came home many times with hay down my shirt, pants. That stuff gets everywhere. I will get back to you shortly. Arlene.
Okay, so that is the information that she sent you to help you get ready for the show on Friday. And so, what is your?
What's a gelding?
Yeah, did you look up gelding and what that is? What is it?
It's a young male horse.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And is it Darlene or Arlene?
Arlene.
Arlene wants you to incorporate her cleaning the horse's penis into.
Yeah, it struck me that was the first and really only thing that she gave me to talk about.
if you think about it, you're supposed to be talking about a class that has lived 50, they've lived almost 70 years, and she just wants you to talk about her routinely cleaning a horse's penis.
From ages 11 to 45. There's a lot of years
it's oddly
in there.
Specific. You almost want to know.
Very
45 is not that old either. You almost want to know what happened at 45 to make her stop.
A bad beaning is what happened.
A beating gone wrong.
So beating gone awry.
All right.
So I got this. It's today is October 17th, and I got this August 15th. So I've had a solid couple months to sit on this, and I'll tell you what, I have not stopped saying beaning geldings over that time period. I've never heard that, and I cannot stop saying it.
It's a good way of covering up the fact that you're talking about cleaning a horse's penis, because it sounds kind of fancy.
Yeah, there's that horse nomenclature that that they can get away with saying some really
Yeah, I
weird
mean, it
shit.
just has that kind of a little bit of rich language, like the wealthy language where you could just say, "Yeah, we're gonna go to Martha's Vineyard and just bean some geldings," just relax.
Oh yes, it has an equestrian resort where we've been geldings, and
So, are you are
very
you going
therapeutic.
to put that into the?
Yeah, I'm going to read that email in its entirety, and just because it's so fucking bizarre, like she could have told me really anything general, and then she just went super specific about
Genitals. The hay thing's kind of weird too.
yeah. I sat there and thought about what was there an innuendo there, or like what was she trying to say?
Maybe she wants you to make some kind of joke about hay,
Like
hay in her
hay in
butt,
her,
or I feel weird
yeah,
even
I
saying
know.
it. I feel,
She assaulted me over
yeah,
email.
yeah, but she knows that crowd, right? I mean, maybe maybe if you looked at the yearbook from 50 years ago, there's just tons of horse penis jokes and hay and butt crack
No,
jokes.
well, it's funny you say that because I found the yearbook online and I've been looking at it, and it's given me some pretty good
Well, that's good, man. That's a good
fodder.
idea.
Yeah, so I found their yearbook on classmates.com, and I've been looking through the stuff. I don't know. It's crazy. I really actually have a ton of work to do on this, and I have like 2 days. So
You know what I would do? I mean, you can just take it or leave it.
yeah.
Just see if they have like a projector, and see if you can look at what some of the high school people said and put their picture up in the comments.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea.
Because that will like immediately bring people in.
True. I should ask Arlene.
Ask
All right, I'm
Arlene,
going to email her.
and then ask Arlene if she has a projector, and then see her send you word for word the exact same email about the horse penis. It'll just be a copy. Yeah, Tom, thanks a lot. It was good to talk to you.
Yeah, dude, it was great.
I'm Nathan Adeshina, and I'll see everybody for the story on Monday. Take care.